Long before humans became major players in the Galactic Republic and in the Galactic Empire, they were but one of many lesser-known species in a galaxy far, far away. While they would eventually become one of the most numerous species, and along with their subspecies, they would be the dominant group, they had humble and small beginnings. The fact that the true birthplace of humanity was always really unknown speaks really a ton about it. Many believe that the city-covered world of Coruscant was the original home of humanity, but no one was ever able to prove it for certain. What is known though is that humans were already living there tens of thousands of years before the Republic existed. At the same time, another civilization called the Rakata was rising in the unknown regions. These Rakata had been first guided by the ancient Qua, who taught them about advanced technology and the Force. But instead of using that knowledge for peace, the Rakata embraced the dark side and built a huge empire based on conquest and slavery. And as they expanded across the galaxy, they invaded world after world, including Coruscant, and thus bringing humans under the rule of the Rakatan Infinite Empire. Life under the Rakata was harsh for many species, to say the least. Their empire depended upon slavery, and countless civilizations were forced to serve them. Humans were among the peoples caught in this giant system of conquest. Although some stories disagree about exactly how widespread human slavery was under the Infinite Empire, the Rakata needed enormous slave labors to build their massive cities, powerful fleets, and incredible machines like the Starforge, which was a gigantic machine, a factory that could create warships using the energy of a nearby star. They also relied on Force-sensitive captives to help power some of their advanced technology. Along with humans, many other species such as the Duros, Huts, Selkat, and Nikto were forced into labor. And in the end, the Rakata's dependence on this slavery became their greatest weakness, as many enslaved peoples eventually rose up in massive rebellions and revolts that helped to bring the Infinite Empire crashing down for good. But even while living under Rakatan rule, humans back then did not stop dreaming about exploring the stars and settling on newfound worlds. Around the year 27,500 BBY, which is before the Battle of Yavin, a group of them began experimenting with simple sleeper ships that carried colonists across space at slower than the speed of light speeds, while remaining frozen for long journeys in sort of like cryosleep journeys, as FTL back then was a highly guarded secret. These early missions allowed humans to settle new worlds throughout the Core Worlds region and the Tion cluster. Many of these colonies were later then conquered by the Rakata as their empire continued to expand across nearly 500 worlds, spreading humans even farther than they could have reached on their own. After the Infinite Empire collapsed, these scattered human settlements survived, they grew, and slowly reconnected with one another. And instead of remaining on a single homeworld, we can see that humanity had already become a species spread across many planets, by either colonizing them by their own sleeper ships or being brought to these planets as slaves by the Rakatan Infinite Empire. So over thousands of years, humans continued to expand across through exploration, trade, and colonization. They adapted to almost every environment they encountered, from the deserts of Tatooine to the lakes of Naboo and the forests of many distant worlds. Every new colony developed its own traditions and cultures, creating famous ones like the Corellians, the Alderaanians, the Chandrillans, the Naboo humans, and many others. By the time of the Galactic Civil War, humans had become the single most numerous intelligent species in the galaxy. They could be found almost everywhere, serving as farmers, traders, soldiers, smugglers, senators, bounty hunters, Jedi, and even Sith. Although humans as a singular species, at least the base form, never became the majority of all intelligent life, but along with their near-human counterparts, which are basically subspecies that have developed over thousands of years, their form of life would be the dominant one, the most seen in the galaxy. Their willingness to settle on new worlds and adapt to almost every environment allowed them to leave a lasting mark on nearly every corner of the Star Wars galaxy, but with many alien species resenting this tenacity. So across the galaxy over thousands of years, they would also evolve or develop several near-human species which are so closely related to humans that they are often considered distant branches or subspecies of humanity, sharing the same basic body structure while developing unique traits over thousands of years of isolation on different worlds. These here are termed as subspecies scientifically speaking because they can interbreed with humans and they can have viable hybrid offsprings, much like how Neanderthals and Homo sapiens did way back in Earth's real-world prehistory. So humans here are basically the same as what we see in our real world, with differing skin tones, eye colors, hair colors, and being a fragile species that physically cannot contend with other animals of their own size. But what makes humans stride over all the rest isn't just intelligence, but also the tenacity and the will to survive against all odds, to live in environments that are deemed too inhospitable by most, and then settle on that world and populate it with huge numbers. So now let's go to the near-human species, and we begin this long list with the Twi'leks of Rylot, who are easily recognized by their long flexible head tails called leku, which they use for communications as well as balance. The Zabraks, native to Iridonia and Dathomir, are famous for their crown of horns, for ritual facial tattoos, incredible endurance, and even possessing 2 hearts, which makes them amongst the toughest near-humans in the galaxy. The Mirialans of Mirial are distinguished by their green, yellow, pink, or purple skin, and geometric facial tattoos that represent personal achievements. The Chiss, who originate from the icy world of Xela in the unknown regions, stand out with their blue skin, glowing red eyes, and dark blue hair, and are known for their disciplined society. Meanwhile, the Pantorans are almost identical to humans except for their striking blue skin and yellow eyes, having adapted to the cold moon of Pantora while maintaining a culture that is both proud and also politically influential. The Kiffar of Kifu and Kiffex closely resemble humans but are known for their distinctive facial markings and having scarlet blood. The Miraluka evolved without physical eyes, instead perceiving the universe entirely through the Force. The Theelin are graceful near-humans with brightly colored hair and skin with small horns and fine ridges across their bodies as well as having hoofed feet. The Togruta, native to Chile, possess colorful skin patterns, large hollow head tails called montrals and leku, which helps them to sense the environment and also makes them highly skilled hunters. The Mirialans are a rare near-human species distinguished by their metallic colored hair, which is either silver or gold, and thus makes them stand out instantly. The Zafel are a lesser-known near-human species with subtle physical differences from baseline humans, yet representing another branch of humanity's widespread evolution. The pale-skinned Umbarans evolved on the dark world of Umbara, developing large eyes adapted for low-light vision and becoming famous for their advanced technology. The Kurivar are recognizable by their reptilian skin, claw-like hands, and a single horn on their cranium. The Kage, natives of the shadow world of Quartzite, are pale-skinned near-humans with great night vision and are known for thriving in harsh underground environments. Then there are also the Tolothians, which are identified by the fleshy tendrils extending from their heads, as well as having a scaly skull. The Anzari are amongst the most feared, appearing completely human until they reveal a pair of proboscis that emerge from their cheeks, which allows them to feed on the life essence of their victims. The Arkanians, natives of the frozen world of Arkania, are famous for their pale white eyes, exceptional intelligence, 4-fingered hands with sharp claws, and the ability to see in the infrared spectrum. The Balosaurs can be recognized by the retractable antennapalps on their heads, which are specialized sensory organs that let them hear sounds in the subsonic range, and gives them heightened awareness in their surroundings. The Bituans are almost indistinguishable from ordinary humans except for their green skin, while otherwise sharing the same body structure and facial features. The Aruzans are another near-human people, easily identified by their blue skin while remaining otherwise physically similar to humans, and they differ from the Chiss by not having those red eyes. The Bipfasi, who originate from the Bipfar system, are recognizable by their light-colored skin, yellow eyes, and dark facial stripes, while many members of their species also became respected Force users. The Constantians stand out with their orange skin, with flaming orange hair and golden yellow eyes, along with youthful facial features and natural telepathic abilities. The Chef, which are natives of the planet called Vinsoth, are shorter than humans and can be identified by their pale white skin or slate grey skin, and also unusual lidless eyes and 2 hearts, while also being highly intelligent and exceptional for engineering and technology. The Caesarians are distinguished by their large, high-domed skulls and white hair, otherwise sharing the same humanoid body plan as humans. The Zeltrons are famous throughout the galaxy for their vibrant pink to crimson skin and their natural ability to produce powerful pheromones that influence the emotions of those around them. They also possess 2 livers, which makes them unusually resistant to alcohol and toxins. The Sulustans, which are natives of the volcanic world of Solars, have round mouse-like eyes and a pair of fleshy jowls on their cheeks, and they're famous across the galaxy as gifted navigators, explorers, and pilots. The Pau'ans, who come from the sinkhole world of Utapau, are tall and slender with deep-lined skin, sharp teeth, long nails, and striking facial markings, and they're adapted to live in underground cave cities, which they can live for up to 700 years. The Vorzidiaks are distinguished by their greenish-yellow skin, white eyes, and a pair of antennae that rise from their heads. The Vala are tall, powerfully built near-humans with dusky skin, pale eyes, and flexible cartilage skeletons instead of having fully hardened bones, calcium bones. Also, many Vala are naturally sensitive to the Force. The Vulcans resemble humans except for their pale olive skin and thick folds, ridges, or fleshy strands, which covers the top of their heads and helps them protect from injury and also play an important role in their social customs and courtships. The Sarusians from the planet Saurus possess remarkably flexible skeletons that can compress and allows them to squeeze through tight and narrow spaces. The Kirash are recognized by their pink skin and unusually large craniums. The Polydivans of wild space have tall, thin bodies, chalk-white skin, and long bony fingers. The Hapans, who come from the isolated Hapans cluster, are renowned throughout the galaxy for their exceptional beauty, yet their frailness and poor eyesight. The Epicanthics are tall, powerfully built, with pale skin, dark hair, narrow eyes, and a remarkable trait of having a natural resistance to many forms of force-based mental influence. The Fondorians are hairless, and they have purple blood, which sets them apart from baseline humans. The Ikari possess striking crystal blue skin and red hair, but their most extraordinary adaptation is an incredible ability to survive injuries like dismemberment or surviving loss of limbs. And finally, the Harakians are distinguished by their golden skin and hair, and makes them one of the most visually unique subspecies of humans. See, the reason why we call them subspecies instead of just near humans is because they can interbreed with other humans. The baseline human can very easily have children and bring out viable offsprings that are healthy and have a mix of features from both sides. Examples include the human Twi'lek, human Miralan, and human Theelin hybrids, whose appearance can vary greatly depending on which traits they inherit. For example, the Twi'lek human offsprings, Shea and Jack LaQuain, inherited different combinations of human and Twi'lek traits. This compatibility exists because humans and many near-human species are believed to share a very close evolutionary relationship, which makes them biologically and genetically almost identical. Near-humans are essentially different branches of humanity that adapt to different planets over thousands of generations. By contrast, reproduction between very different species like humans and Wookiees or Mon Calamari or the Ithorians are generally considered impossible because their biology and genetics are simply too different. So looking across all these near humans, it becomes clear just how far evolution can shape a species while still preserving its shared ancestry. Some adaptations are purely cosmetic, like the golden skin of the Harakians or the blue skin of the Chiss and Pantorans. The Miraluka abandon physical eyesight altogether, seeing only through the Force, while the Togruta evolve holomontrals that allow them to sense movement around them. The Arkanians gain infrared vision. The Barossars develop antenna bulbs that detect subsonic sounds, and Sarusians evolve compressible skeletons that help them to slip through impossibly narrow spaces. Some became physically tougher like the Zabraks and the Chef, both of whom possess two hearts, while the Vala replaced much of their bony skeleton with a flexible cartilage. Others evolved remarkable biological defenses, from the Epicanthics, whose minds naturally resist force manipulation, to the Ikari, whose bodies can survive injuries that would kill almost any other being. Even the terrifying Anzadi evolved into secret predators, hiding their feeding proboscis behind an otherwise human face, and yet the Zeltrons can also emit a pheromone that can control other species through their emotions. Together, these remarkable adaptations show that all of these peoples remain close enough to humanity to be considered subspecies of the same lineage, separated by just cosmic distances. Then there's also the case of probable genetic engineering or enhancements or manipulations in the ancient past by either the Rakata or other aliens, or even by humans themselves to let them adapt to inhospitable worlds. This might explain why Twi'leks, for example, who have these large leku and seem so different, can still interbreed with humans, which says that they are still more than 99% similar in genetics. And this goes for all the rest. They might look different, but they're still the same. Same but different, but still same. Anyway, with that we end this video. Do hit the like button for support and also click that bell button for regular updates on new video uploads. Also subscribe to be a part of Legion Nutbug, and till the next time, take care, boys.